We live in a twilight world. Let's do a quick recording, yeah? Today's Sunday, and I'm not at work. I usually work on the weekends, but there's not much available for me at the moment, so yeah, man. The joys of being self-employed. But anyway, it's nice to have a Sunday off for a change. Yeah, I work weekends, and it's nice to have a weekend off because it's a different vibe, innit? You know, a lot of the people within the world consider Saturday and Sunday somehow different. And there's a different kind of energy, there's a different vibe. Of course, you know, a Saturday is no different from a Monday, really. It's the way people project a perception upon it. Like these 2 days, the weekend, as they call it, are for them and to party and relax and so on, you know. But anyway, you know, I was out and about, bought myself some lunch and that. And then I was driving home. I thought, do you know what? As I'm off work, I might do a quick presentation on YouTube. I haven't really done anything in a while, and why not, man? You know, why not? And the presentation I was thinking about doing was called "Cops in the Head." Yeah, policemen in the head. Yeah, or cops in the head, as the expression goes. And this is not that presentation. I might do that presentation later on tonight. But, you know, as I'm driving, I don't know about you, but I get some of my best thoughts and ideas when I'm driving. I don't know why that is. I've got theories. I think the fact you're in your car, which is almost like a Faraday cage, and the fact that your body is concentrating on driving, it allows your subconscious to kind of free flow a little bit, right? Because your body's taking care of the driving. Your senses are taking care of the driving. You're in this Faraday cage. You're moving through time and space faster than you usually would. And yeah, like I said, it gives your subconscious time to, you know, freestyle and brainstorm and so on. So I'm driving home and I'm thinking, like, I'm kind of rehearsing in my head how I'm going to do this cops in the head presentation. And as I'm driving down this countryside road, I come around a bend and there's some cops, some police in the what we call a lay-by. You know, there'll be a little added on bit of road to the side called a lay-by where you can stop on a countryside road and pull in, right? Because over here in the UK, countryside roads are, you know, they're quite dangerous. I think the most amount of roadside incidents happen on countryside roads. Anyway, I digress. I'm thinking of doing cops in the head presentation about the police and the tactics they use and how it relates to illusion warfare. Next, you know, I'm driving past police who are in a lay-by and I'm doing 50 in a 40. So I slow down, and as I drive past them, they suddenly pull out and they're following me. Yeah, and it's a police van. It's not a regular. You know, it's not a regular police car. It's a police van. I know from personal experience, this is the van that they arrest people in, yeah? The bigger vans have the little police cell in the back, the mobile police cell. And this is what they go and use when they're going to arrest someone. So it's countryside roads and they're following me, and I'm making sure I'm keeping to 40. And it's like, why are they following? And I'm going, I can really, I you know, naturally, you know, I say naturally, maybe it's a bit of paranoia. I start taking an obscure route. I bust a left, they follow me. I bust a right, they follow me. Fuck. And it really starts to feel like they're following me. And I'm thinking, wow. This is getting a bit weird, like they're following me, you know? It's like being back in London again when they did used to follow you and stuff. So I get to a roundabout and I thought, I'm not going to go to my house because it really does feel like they're following me. I'm going to go to McDonald's in the drive-thru and get a coffee and see if they follow me. So, you know, and it's like a roundabout. Then you go on to this, you know, this, what do you call it? It's not a retail park, like a convenience park that's got a petrol station. So you have to do a lot of like odd turns, right? So I'm doing, I bust a right at the first roundabout, I left at the second roundabout, I go, and they're following me the whole way, and then they follow me into the McDonald's car park. And I'm thinking, shit, man, this is they're definitely following me, right? In my head, they're following me. So yeah, I go to the McDonald's drive-through, and luckily, you know, the McDonald's drive-through, it splits, right? And luckily it split, and then they went off, and then somehow I ended up behind them. And then that's it. I thought, oh, thank fuck. It was just a coincidence. Okay? It was all a coincidence. And they ended up in front of me, and they bought some food. They were going to McDonald's as well. But I'm just thinking, you know how it gets strange, right? Because I'm thinking in my head about doing a presentation about cops in the head. And then now I've got police following me on the way home from thinking, at the moment I'm thinking about cops in the head, and now it's police following me, and now I've got cops in the head. I think there's cops chasing me. Ain't that fucking crazy? You know, this is times like this is when reality gets really freaky. Now, this is obviously not the first time, and this is probably not the best example, but I would say as of 2020 onwards, and this might just be because I've been noticing it more, that whole thing of thoughts becoming reality has been happening a lot more. Another good example of that, cops in the head, is when I went to Odessa in Ukraine. The second time I went to Ukraine, I went to Odessa because I had a lot of intel from both people that like me and people that dislike me, saying Odessa was going to be next on the list for the Putin to attack, right? So I went to Odessa, and I didn't stay in Odessa very long because it was just too hard to film anything, because there really was undercover police on every street corner. There was military everywhere. And there's a strict no filming ban in Ukraine at the moment. You're not allowed to film roads and streets or anything like that, okay? So I got some footage. I got a decent amount of footage to prove my point. There's no actual war going on there. But there are the effects of a war, the live action role playing of a war, which makes the real war for very, very real and all that. Anyway, I digress again. My final day, I decided to leave. I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm literally moments away from catching a bus out of this place. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start filming monuments and filming this and filming that. And there's this, in Odessa, there's this big, it's not that big, but there's a monument of an old Soviet tank. Yeah, on like, it's like a raised giant bit of concrete, and there's a Soviet tank at an angle. And you know what? I thought, I'm going to film this, right? And just as I'm circling around to film it, in my head, I'm envisioning a police car driving alongside me, doing a U-turn and getting out and confronting me. I get the camera out. I start filming this tank monument. That exact premonition thought I had happened. Behind it, on the main road, was a police car. They were driving along. They'd done a U-turn. They pulled up alongside me, and they jumped out with fucking AK-47s and come running over to me saying, documentation. It was like I had a precognition in my head of what was going to happen, or in that particular place in the world right now, Ukraine, the veil is so thin that you can really project your reality out into manifestation that quickly. I don't know. Yeah, this gets into the woo-woo territory, but literally the exact thought I had happened. And that's it. So, I'm sure, that's happened to you guys. And it does seem to have happened, or is happening a lot more since that very special temporal moment that we call 2020. Yeah, when reality really got strange. From 2020 onwards, the ability to bend reality, to push your thoughts out into this dream, into this simulation, into this illusion, whatever you want to call this realm, is becoming greater. And that's why I'm I try to be very, very conscious and careful about what I think about in my head, because that's why I try and encourage people, like, I give the truthers a hard time, the truther types, but you see where they're getting it wrong is they're so far downwards in the dark side of things, in the matrix, in a nightmarish thinking of the Matrix, the nightmare Matrix, that they're constantly projecting and absorbing nightmarish thoughts and realities is coming out in front of them and then back on them, and they're caught in that thing. So you really have kind of got to like, I know it's cheesy and I know people don't want to hear it, but positive thinking about not only yourself, but about around you, your day-to-day life, how your time is going to be and what's going to happen are important. Especially now that the veil is so thin and, reality is so, what's the word? Malleable. Yeah. Like Play-Doh, it can be bent and twisted. So, definitely, if you are a person that kind of floats toward the negative side of things, perhaps that's time to make a change, yeah, and start at least trying for the next, try something out for 6 months, is thinking more positively about everything. We live in a twilight world. There are no friends at dusk.